I like to think that I'm a professional YouTuber. I've been interested in the process of making videos for about 1, 2, 3, too many years at this point. For some more meaningful numbers to you, I've been semi-consistently posting here for more like 2 years, and across all my channels, I'm scarily close to hitting 100 videos. Yet, despite all this, have I even given you guys a proper introduction? I mean, sure, my first video was a Meet the Artist video, but I was clueless on how to even start introducing myself. Oh, and also, I'm returning from one of my longest breaks in the history of this channel. Anyway, hi, this is my official rebrand. So what's got me thinking about rebranding so much? Graduating high school for one. I've alluded to this before, but the plan the entire time was to really focus up full-time YouTuber style this upcoming summer-fall season. Also, the 2-year channel anniversary is in like a month. If there were more than 24 hours in a day, I would ideally post this video at the same time as the exact channel anniversary. But man, having a channel anniversary in July is so hard, because that's literally the same month as Art Fight. Back to my motivations for rebranding, I've had the same profile picture since the end of Halloween. Don't you think it's time for a fresh coat of paint? Hi, I'm Rose, also known as Day by Day Creates on YouTube, and I don't even have anything particularly silly or unexpected to say today. Let's just get this started. Step number 1 of any good rebrand is a reintroduction of sorts. Just getting all the basic facts straight and letting the viewer decide if they want to stay for this new wave of content or not. And for that, I believe a little introduction drawing is in order. In the past, I never really considered making a Meet the Artist drawing. I felt as though I'd rather show and tell parts of myself rather than write them all down in neat little columns, you know? But this time around, I figured out that I could draw the things that I wrote down as well. I like this because it gives a more visual aspect to it that other things like these that I see don't normally have. However, there is a downside in the fact that I could not fit nearly as many interests as I would have liked to. I like a lot of things, but since I was adding things just based on whatever was on the top of my head at that moment, it's just dominated by just 2 things, gaming and Vocaloid, just 2 of the many things I like. If editing me feels like it, I'm going to show more of my interests through like text or something. In the drawing itself, I drew me in real life next to my 2 personas. Rose, the one closer to my shoulder, is my persona, because it's a person. It's just me, but smaller, cuter, and stupider. Definitely the Sona I draw more often. Sunny, on the other hand, is my other Sona. Not persona, because Sunny is not a person, Sunny is a creature. Sunny's the brand, the mascot, the one in the YouTube thumbnail, the piece of ravioli thrown off the wall to see if it sticks. The Sona I should use more often, because my whole brand revolves around him. But drawing Rose always brings me back, so in the end, it's a 50-50 split. But, just so you know, going forward, you are going to see Sunny way more often than you see Rose, or so I tell myself. Fun fact, the outfit the real-life me is wearing in the drawing and the outfit I was wearing in real life that day. Thank goodness I have that as reference in real life, because if I didn't, I would have gotten it pretty incorrect actually. Occasionally, I had to look down at my outfit to get the colors right, and that was fun. To me, making a little Meet the Artist sheet almost seems like putting together a little puzzle, piece by piece. You want to make the most of the space that's given to you, so you have to meticulously plot out your composition very, very carefully, and somehow I still didn't leave enough room for all my interests. That's why I spent about 2 hours on the drawings and 3 hours on the actual layout of it all. That's because how you present things like this is very, very important. I'm saying this in a way where it sounds like there's a lot on the line, but it really just says a lot about you no matter how you do it. It's all about the little choices at the end of the day. Now, I know it's common to have a dislike section on pages like this, yet I feel as though writing down the things you dislike in an intro post is kind of pointless. For one, I'd have to think of things I don't like for longer than I would ideally want to. 2, I'd have to look at the things I don't like for the rest of the time I was making it, even when not specifically looking at that certain section. 3, I know the point of adding a dislike section is to have people avoid those things, but given the current state of the internet at this current moment, it's more likely that someone may purposely do or say something you don't like to make you mad or something. Do what you want when you do this, but be careful. If you want to put some dislikes on your Meet the Artist page, if that's something you are compelled to do, I'd say put things that wouldn't affect you too much, like mild dislikes. For the text, at first I wanted the whole thing handwritten, give it that homemade sort of feel, but the line work was thin and the handwriting therefore unreadable, so I just replaced it with the text at the very end. I hope you don't mind. Speaking of the text, that sort of text I've been using way more often recently, and I kind of want your opinion on it. I like it, but could I do better? Question mark. That's for you to decide. So back in the intro segment, I believe I I briefly mentioned something about how I had planned to focus my full attention on making YouTube a full-time job starting this summer, but I never fully elaborated what my plan actually meant. Sorry to keep you in the dark for so long, but I'm gonna talk about it now. Since the start of my solo YouTube career, I knew that one of the biggest things that separates people who do YouTube for a living and people who don't is how much experience one has in the field. I was also aware of the fact that the two biggest hurdles for me doing YouTube full-time is that 1, I was literally 13 and therefore not an adult yet, and 2, I was literally 13 and therefore I was still in school. My conclusion after all that thinking about it is that I should just do whatever now, get my practice in, etc. while I don't have a strict posting schedule, and then whenever I graduate high school, I really go from making YouTube and also art in general a full-time thing, you know? Over time, this idea of a plan became more defined and more nuanced as well, but I'm really glad I didn't put any expectations on myself, because when I was 13, I wanted to be a full-time gaming YouTuber. Knowing how much editing that takes, and knowing I wanted to do it alone, I think that would have killed me if I went through with that. Nowadays, gaming's more of a hobby for me that I only occasionally indulge in. I sure do need one, knowing that art's gonna be my full-time job now. Don't get me wrong, still love art, but when you do it as a job, sometimes you just need a break, you know? With that tangent out of the way, it seems like the Meet the Artist section has concluded. But don't think we're done here just yet, because it's banner time, baby! Wahoo! Had to do it eventually. Even though I made a whole video back many months ago on making the previous one, I do kind of feel like I was liking that banner I made in that banner video less and less over time anyway. Call that law of diminishing returns the way my returns diminished. Yay, I actually learned something in school! Anyways, something that always bothered me about the older banner is how it stuck out like a sore thumb. I kind of slapped it together with no regard for how it lines up with everything else, because I grew tired with the first banner, and I wanted to replace it quickly, you know? Just get it out of here, please! A reminder from my past, get it out of here! But this YouTube banner will stick out no longer, because now it matches the profile picture. I say this under the assumption that I put the profile picture segment next to the Meet the Artist portion. If not, it will be on screen now. I had a hard time coming up with a good banner idea for a while actually, but I'm certain you can tell from the beginning of the speed paint. But after I made the profile picture and thought about how I really want everything to match this time around, it all just kind of fell into place. A floating around in space vibe? Sure, sign me up. The thing that is the most prone to changing as of right now is the text. I've never been a text person, I've never even been a font person. I tried to make it both interesting enough to look at and also understandable to read. If the banner text in this video looks different enough to the text on a banner you see when you click on the channel, I wouldn't be all that surprised, to be honest. Also, look at the rose floating around by the moon. I'm totally gonna save that as a transparent image and like use it in a thumbnail sometime. Probably like a stream thumbnail. Wow, would you look at that? All the drawings are done. Truth be told, I actually thought I'd do more art for this rebrand actually. The idea was to have a whole bunch of new backgrounds and a complete set of entirely new sprites. I now see that that was just a bit ambitious, but worry not. I will work on these lofty goals of mine over a longer period of time. Perhaps coming soon on a YouTube stream near you? Preposterous. It's still gonna be like once a month, guys, I'm gonna be real. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to find out. And with that, my first video back on YouTube has reached its natural conclusion. This has been Rose, and